Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Penguin RC Simulation Grand AM series, coming to you live from Road Atlanta. My name's AJ Stevens, my co-host Christian Snyder. We're looking at about a 20-minute sprint to start this off, with a 50-minute feature following the sprint. Drivers are qualifying currently right now, so let's go and see what we got going on here tonight.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what we have here. I'm usually over broadcasting NASCAR, but I was hailed last minute to come over to do this. I can't wait. It looks like a lot of fun, and can't wait to give a good call here tonight.
Yeah, it looks like they've got pretty good track conditions for tonight. It's about 78 degrees. Slight wind. So hopefully with it not being too hot, we'll see some straight racing. Nobody really going off track tonight.
Yeah, with the slick track, you typically see that tire wear come into factor. You see them sliding all over in the corners, but a little bit cool out here. I hope it's sticky out there for these guys, and it's a good race.
I'm really excited to see how the Ferrari 296 does. I haven't gotten a chance to drive the car yet, so I'm interested to see how it runs with it being a new car in iRacing.
I used to drive the Ferrari. I actually did a 6-hour Daytona race. The Ferraris are a lot of fun to drive.
I enjoyed the Ferrari too. The Beamer was pretty fun at certain points, depending on the track. Headlights, not so much. All right.
See, this is, I believe, a McLaren out here right now. See him going up through the gears here on the long straightaway. Heavy braking zone down this hill right here. This is going to be a trouble spot for a lot of guys.
Especially with that hard left, hard right. I expect to see, at least some over braking with some overshooting at times, especially coming down that hill.
You think we'll see drivers with the sand pails and doing some sand castles over there in the sand?
That, and maybe doing some lawn mowing.
It's possible out here.
Especially once you clip that edge. I mean, the new physics with the grass and sand, I feel like has helped a lot. Especially with, you see drivers come back from an off track and the car is not damaged as much. Versus before, you hit that grass or the sand and it was like a ice rink and there was no stopping it.
Yeah, I was going to say, once you touch that grass, it's ice, and you're usually going to end up hitting something solid.
Yeah, exactly. You're praying that it stops and it just keeps going, but it doesn't seem to do that anymore. I've even seen it on the NASCAR side where it seems like you can actually use the grass and still be able to get the car to turn and correct from utter death, basically, or chaos.
Yeah, it's a lot better now. I mean, iRacing's improving every single month with the updates they come out with. I can't wait to see. I think rain is coming in the near future, so can't wait to see what that's like.
I really think that'll make some of these races really interesting. Granted, we don't have it yet, but I think especially for the prototypes and the GT3s where we see it in the real world, it'll make it a lot of fun. So,
yeah, my fear is the windshield wiper going to work good enough?
That's going to be the ultimate test. That will be the whoa! We got one sideways.
Big hit into that wall there. That looks like Josh Ondo. Yeah. We're on board here with Michael Gonzalez now.
We got about 8 minutes left, so he's got some time to still put in a decent lap. For anybody new joining the broadcast, we have prototypes tonight, as well as GT3 Pro and GT3 AM. So we'll have two cars that are same car, different classes, and then obviously the faster prototypes.
How about iconic paint schemes right here? Konica Minolta, I believe is how it's pronounced. It's a pretty iconic paint scheme in the realm of GT Pro.
You can say that's been out there for a number of years.
Here's that tight corner again. We're on board here with Flynn Lazier. I hope I got that right. Lazier, I believe.
It's really interesting to watch the prototype cars, especially even if you're in the slower class. It always seems like they swing out way wider but cut tighter and so much faster, which is really interesting, especially being the fact that you would figure they're carrying more speed. So, you know, the whole cornering, you would think they'd have to slow down more, but like an Indy car, it just sucks right to the ground.
Yeah, these cars are more heavy and more aerodynamic dependent, so they kind of, you know, are harder to turn than those prototype cars that are very quick in their reaction time.
Exactly, and it especially if you get a little bit of damage to the front of the GT3 cars, they don't tend to want to corner the same. The downforce tends to go away. And that's when you start seeing spinouts and stuff like that.
And real quick, left side of the screen there, you can see Christian Youngwall up on the top of the board there. He's in a Ferrari. He's got a Porsche behind him in second for that GT class.
Yeah, it looks like
overall pool sitter right now.
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty tight between the top 5.
Very tight. You see within a half a second of each other in times there.
Yeah, that
good racing.
That first to second is definitely close. I mean, you could throw a blanket over the two.
On board here, it looks like Cody Crosgrove, I believe. We're watching him in his, I want to say it's a McLaren?
No, that looks like a Ferrari.
It is a Ferrari,
I believe.
So used to seeing red whenever I see Ferraris.
Right. Because everybody wants that iconic red on the car.
Exactly.
Man, you can see him working that wheel.
He's taking every inch of track limits he can do on that corner.
It'd be interesting to see how many guys run qualifying setup versus a race setup, or if they just choose to run the race setup because they know where it's at. Because that is a pretty big switch when you figure you're going to run a lot looser during qualifying than during racing. So, and I will be interested to see too, you know, they do have a 20-minute sprint. How many guys are going to run a vastly different setup from qualifying to sprint to the 50-minute?
Yeah, it's all about strategy and what you want for that. You can be aggressive with it, be on the looser side, or go for a setup that, you know, you want to just handle the track nice and easily and just survive.
I know myself as a driver, I prefer to be consistent across the board. So I know, like I say, as myself, I'd rather have my race setup and run it between all 3. But then there's those guys that they want to push the envelope the entire time.
Yeah, I'm definitely not on the pushing envelope side. I like consistency, nice and slow. I'm that type of guy. The tortoise always wins in the end, you know?
Right. Now you see some of these guys in these prototypes that just thread the needle or float it way out there. And I mean, to go fast in one of those cars, it's what you really have to do. But if you can find something that's consistent, that's the key.
Yeah, those guys are on the edge every single lap, I swear.
Oh, yeah.
Like Reynolds here in the Penguin RC GTP here. Good looking car.
Kind of has that the mid 2000s Verizon scheme look to it. The orange and the black and the white.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see what kind of lap time he can put down here. You can see currently he's in third. He's trying to up his time to try to get up into first.
Just missing out by about almost 0.6.
Oh, a little bit over into the grass there.
Yep.
You can see immediately as soon as he hit the grass, he's going to end that lap and go back to the pits. Here's the current pole sitter right now, Michael Gonzalez, out there on the track.
Ooh, hit the grass there. It started sliding just a little bit on exit. Pretty fluid though on the wheel. It's interesting, that line at the top of the hill. I've seen where guys try to avoid that far outside, but it tends to be the fastest once you get to the top there, even though it's really, really rough on that transition from the rumble strip to the grass back to the pavement.
It looks like qualifying has finished here, and we're going to go into our sprint here. So we'll go over the starting lineup. AJ, we'll send it over to you for that.
All right, we've got starting first, Michael Gonzalez. Starting second, Flynn Lazier. Third is Blake Reynolds. Fourth, Stephen Finch. Fifth, Brandon Lambert. Sixth, Josh Stoltz. And seventh, Aaron Beaver for the GTPs. And for GT3 Pro, it looks like starting first in that class, Matt Kingsbury. Oh, I'm sorry. It's going to be Christian Youngwall starting first. Second is Ray Kingsbury. Third, Kevin Fanning. Fourth, Cody Cosgrove. Fifth, Matt Kingsbury. Sixth, Brian Sohn. And it looks like seventh is Brian Asta. In GT3 AM, we've got first is Marwan Mofat. Second is Tim Brokaw. Third, Daniel Coletta. Fourth, Josh Ondo. Fifth is Gary Freeman. We've got sixth is Alex Axman. Seventh, Ruby Lehman. Eighth, Kevin Bogart. And that looks to be our entire starting grid. Looks like we've got just about everybody gridded here as well.
And I believe they're going to do a pace lap here to get going.
Yeah, it looks like full pace lap.
I know sometimes we see that standing start get with Formula One, but not these guys.
I was wondering if maybe we'd see a partial pace lap, but I think with the track the length that it is, full works out pretty well.
Now, I'm not too familiar with this type of racing, but I believe they will separate the groups by at least like 5 seconds so that there's not any overlay, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we should see a little bit of layback on that, just to not cause chaos going into that first turn, especially being that, you know, sometimes these GTPs on the colder tires, depending on the setup, it's real loose to start things out. And then it takes about 2 to 3 laps before you start really seeing tires heat up. But yeah, it looks like we've got a good 10-second gap maybe. And I don't know, it kind of looks like Pro and Am are staying tight together. So no separation there, but
Okay, here's the driver standings. You can see Blake Reynolds is your points leader in GTP. Christian Youngwall in the 55 is the points leader for GT3 Pro. And then Gary Freeman Jr. For the GT3M. Here's Christian Youngwall, the points leader, the 55. See Michael Gonzalez going to lead the field down the hill here. Warming up the tires. This is important.
You can almost feel the nerves as they're getting ready to come down to it.
Yeah, we got a 5-minute sprint and then, or I believe 20 minutes.
20 minute sprint.
And then a 50-minute feature. So this is the 20-minute sprint about to take place here at Road Atlanta. Never actually seen a race at this track. This is the first time I'm actually seeing it. It's a nice track.
Yeah, I've done a couple of races here, and it's a lot of fun once you find the flow of the track is the main thing. Pace car looks like it's off. And we are underway. Got Flynn Lazier out to an early lead here coming into turn 1. Looks like everybody's going to fall in line heading up the hill.
And now we see the green flag here for the GTs. They need to get single file pretty quickly here. Never fun going too wide in the corners.
No, not especially with the cold tires right now. But it looks like...
Oh, we got trouble already.
I couldn't tell who that was there.
Cody
Cosgrove. Doesn't look like...
He's got the sponsor of the race on board that car.
Doesn't look like any damage on the car, so that's good. Flynn Lazier continues to lead with a half a second lead over Michael Gonzalez. And it looks like Michael's trying to close it in.
Yeah, Flynn might have set up for a cold tire type setup. I'm not sure if these guys have open sets, but he might be good with the cold tires and able to pull away. But Michael Gonzalez is going to be able to reel him in over time.
And he's getting a little bit of pressure from Blake Reynolds behind him. God, I really like the way that car looks.
It is snazzy. Very colorful, kind of like a Panasonic type.
Exactly.
There. Back to the GTs here, looking at Christian Youngwall, points leader. He's also the race leader right now for the GTs, but that Ferrari behind him, he's stalking them.
I think he's just biding his time, waiting for that opening. Still early, no point to push it quite yet, but you don't want to let anybody escape you.
Yeah, this is one of the 2 Kingsburys in the race. You can see he was getting every inch of the track he could. He just tagged the grass there coming out of that corner here. We have an issue back here on back. Gary Freeman. He's, I believe, the points leader for that class.
Yeah. Points leader in GT3 AM.
Yeah, this is not the start that he wanted for this sprint.
No. Looks like a little bit of damage to that left front. Hopefully it's not too much to slow him down at this point. You hate to have to pit this early.
Yeah, let's see what happened to him here. He gets up on the curb here. Those curbs sometimes can bite you here.
Yeah, it looks like it off-settled the car when he was going through the corner, and it just sent him into a spin there.
And not too much damage, just tagged the wall with the back bumper there and a little bit on the left front, but not too severe there.
Yeah, hopefully nothing to knock that steering out of alignment.
Get another replay here. Let's see what happened here.
Looks like Cody Cosgrove gets tagged and spins.
Yeah, this was at the beginning of the race.
Oh, this is off the start.
Yeah, so that's the issue that we saw Cody Cosgrove have on lap 1 there.
Looks like we might have another one off.
There he is. He's hiding behind the wall.
Looks like Gary was back off track, or I'm not really sure what happened there.
Yeah, whenever you spin, it heats up those tires and can overheat them, and then you go into the next corner and just lose it. We'll have to see. Now we got Daniel Coletta also off track here. A lot of these guys struggling early on in this race. Let's see what happened to Coletta. Let's see, he's passing here on the outside.
Clips the grass just a little bit. It just lightened that rear end just enough.
Didn't hit anything, just an off track for him.
Yep. Looks like Gary's going again, so...
Well, we have a car there with no front bumper. That is not good.
Flynn Lazier still leading, still holding that 0.5 advantage over Michael Gonzalez with Blake Reynolds in tow.
Yeah, he's got lap traffic now with the GTs. He's finally caught up to the back of that field. And now you can see Gonzalez going to capitalize possibly.
He's looking for a way around.
Overdrives
see
a
if
little
Flynn
bit.
tries to use the car. He used the GT3 car for a pick.
He did. It looked like Gonzalez almost got into that Porsche there.
Yeah, I think he just come in a little too hot on him.
You can see that has allowed Blake Reynolds to also catch up into this battle now, so it's 3 cars battling for this lead.
Lazier trying to find clean ways through the GT3 field, and Gonzalez is going to pull alongside. Can't get to that inside to seal the deal yet.
Oh! Attack. And that allowed Blake Reynolds to take the lead. Look at that. Passed him right on the right side there. Passes 2 in 1 move.
I mean, that's always the trick of multi-class racing, is finding your way past the slower cars faster. And it looks like Reynolds just capitalized on a small mistake with all the traffic.
Yeah, you can see that Lazier is not happy with that. He wants to lead back. Here he comes on the inside.
He's going to have that inside going into turn 1. They are side by side up the hill.
Michael Gonzalez just saying, one of you make a mistake, I'm going to come through next.
And it looked like Lazier clipped that corner just enough to try to overtake it in the inside, but Reynolds slamming the door on him there.
Oh, a little bit of a wiggle there by Reynolds. That's going to allow Lazier to get by him. Now he got stuck behind that TT.
This is a dogfight up front. We're only 6.5 minutes in so far. Oh! Lazier goes around, but he catches it.
The leader gets loose. He's going to lose a lot of time. I don't see him being able to run that down with only 15 minutes left.
He caught it, only dropped to 4th, though, so maybe he can come back from it. Now we got Christian Youngwall and Ray Kingsbury fighting for, it looks like, lead in the GT3 Pro class.
Kevin Fanning kind of close behind, not quite there yet. He's working there, though.
Slowly reeling them in.
I do love the look of those Porsches. I've always been a Porsche fan throughout my entire life, so if I was to race GT3 ever, I think it would be a Porsche.
They're very tricky to drive, I'd say. Interesting feel when you go around the corners.
Oh, I saw that in the background. Michael Gonzalez.
Looks like he went way wide or just missed the corner. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, just missed the corner, goes really wide while he was trying to fight through this GT traffic. But he's able to recover pretty well. He's still within a second there of Reynolds.
Using the draft off the GT3 cars to try to pull back in any way, shape, or form here. It looks like he's inching closer again.
Here they come down the hill here.
That's the joy of multi-class racing.
Well, we got an off-track here. Alex Axman.
Looked like he clipped the wall, but I don't really see any damage to that front end.
See how he got there here. Looks okay there. Oh, just pushes it a little too far there.
I think he clipped that car in front of him in the rear just a little bit. Somebody breaking a little bit too soon and not expecting it, and so it looks like he tapped it, broke, and spun around. Back to the battle for the lead for GT3.
Yeah, Kingsbury's closer now this lap than he was last. He's looking possibly at going low here. He pokes his nose there, but he gets shut down.
And he's got the inside at this point coming up the hill.
Yeah, with the momentum from that outside lane, the 55 going to easily continue up there in the lead. They'll try to set him up again.
Oh yeah, he's closing back in on him.
Yeah, not many passing points here, but every chance you get on the straightaway, you want to try to get into the braking points. That's where the most capitalization can come.
And Christian, I mean, everywhere Ray tries to go, he shuts that line down pretty quick.
Yeah, he's mirror driving right now.
Yep.
And see, this is another one of those passing opportunities as they're going to come over the hill here. A little bit of a blind corner, that corner is.
And then down the hill and hard on the brakes, get ready to go to the left.
He showed his nose in there. He's making him look in that left mirror, and saying, "Hey, I'm here."
And he's giving him just enough room to say, "Yo, you can try it, but you know, I'm gonna stop it pretty quick." Back up the hill they go. It's like that third place car is starting to close in just a little bit as these guys try to battle for the lead. Yeah, Kevin Fanning not as far back as he was before this battle started going on. I'm kind of wondering if the mirror driving is maybe slowing those two down just a little bit as Ray tries to make his way around.
And they got a prototype in between them, but back up to the prototype lead here. See Blake Reynolds still leading. Gonzalez behind him. Back up to the live view there. We got the ticker on the left. Axman, he's really off the pace here. He's
yeah, it looks like he slowed it down considerably.
Yeah, he had that off track earlier. He's trying to regroup, but not many cars that he can pass.
Gonzalez has really pulled Reynolds in here.
See if he does anything here. There he is.
Tries to dive to the inside. They touch, but they both hold it straight.
I was thinking he was going to be a little aggressive into that braking zone. Sure enough, he was. Here's another one going into turn one. See what he does up the hill.
Goes back to the inside, but there's a GT3 right there as they go up the hill.
You can tell it looks like Gonzalez just a little bit faster, but he's just having a little bit of trouble finding a place to get around Reynolds.
Yeah, it seems like right about the here he goes.
Gonzalez capitalizes there with a little bit of a mistake by Reynolds. He overdrove the corner, goes wide.
We'll see if he can start to pull away now that, like we were saying, he looked a little bit faster, so...
And it seemed like earlier he was having an easier time getting through the GTs. But back to this battle again here. He's still trying to get around him.
Ray's still looking for a way around Christian, but... I'm kind of wondering if Kingsbury's got to back off just a little bit, kind of give himself some space to get some run up on the car, to find that line to the inside. It looks like he's taking it.
Yeah, a little bit of a slower car. It looks like Kingsbury going to try to utilize it, but not able to there in that corner. Now he's got his draft, though. Let's see if he gets him in the braking zone. Looking on the blimp cam here. Here he goes. He's peeking.
He's on the inside.
Yeah, and this will be the outside whenever they come down into this corner here. So Youngwell going to have the advantage in that corner. Going to easily continue as the leader there.
You can still see third place in that class is just creeping closer and closer. Almost like he's kind of biding his time to see what's going to happen here.
Oh, we got a battle again here. Reynolds going to go to the inside down the hill of Reynolds, or of Gonzalez.
And Gonzalez back to the inside. Looks like he's going to pull back out on him just a little bit. We'll see if that GT3 car comes into play here.
Oh, he tried to get over to his right side. There he is.
He's back to the inside as we go up the hill.
You still got to be careful.
They are pushing the envelope.
It's important to be the leader, but taking yourself out, battling for the lead, you're going to be worse off. So you just got to wait for the right time, make that pass happen.
Well, you've got to think, too, once we go to the 50-minute, that field's going to invert. You know, so you want to be there and push it, but you don't want to cost yourself a good spot. Exactly.
We got a replay here with one of the GT AM cars here, one of the Porsches. Oh, just off track, and he's making sandcastles.
Just missed his braking point there. Oh, wow.
That was... That
looks
was
like
very
third place.
close.
The GT3s maybe rear-ended him there. I'm not real sure if that was third place or.
Oh, it's the 44.
Oh, it was. It was.
Kevin Fanning, and you can see that tire was not attached anymore. He's going to have to tow.
No. Yep. Back to the race for the GTPs. Gonzalez still holding it down, but Reynolds is right there. I mean, one mistake and he's all over him again. Oh, down through the grass. He's loose.
Man, that was a good save there.
That was a wild save.
Yeah, earlier we said Gonzalez was faster, but I mean Reynolds was right there. But now we're going to see what happened with Flynn Lazier here. Looks to the inside going into this corner. Oh, you can see maybe a little bit of late braking. I think this is a pass for third, actually.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, he braked pretty late in there, but was able to make it stick. Takes third.
And Reynolds is still hounding Gonzalez even after that little slip up. And they are using every inch of the track. You see the dust kicking up even in some of the corners. Got about
just
4
under 4
minutes left.
Hey, you beat me to it. There's not much more time to do these moves. You got to get everything you can within these next 3.5 minutes or so. You can see Reynolds is still right there.
Really impressed with the wheel work out of both of these guys. I mean, they're, like I said, they're using every inch of the track and even kind of using the GT3 cars a little bit to their advantage where they can, without actually colliding with anything.
I would have collided with everything on the track already if I was behind the wheel of these. I'm telling you, everything but the pace car.
It looks like Kingsbury's dropped off a little bit from Youngwall here. Not sure if they had some GTP cars that they were contending with and, rather than push it, decided to back off there.
And the battle is going to be with these GTPs with Gonzalez and Reynolds. They're still going at it. It looks like they have like almost the same setup underneath them here. And
they are absolutely flying. I'm just looking at the last laps. Looking at the last laps from both of them. Gonzalez with a 108.8 and Reynolds with a 108.6.
Yeah, this is the 43 of Lehman in the GTAM. He's around right in front of the GTP leaders.
Which is one of those scary things when you're driving a GTP, because, I mean, you hit anything in one of these cars and it's at least 15 minutes of damage.
See, dealing with another one of those GTs. Here's Kingsbury.
Matt Kingsbury in 10th.
Not sure if they're brothers, but assuming they are. It's always a good thing to see brothers racing together. It's always a little bit of friendly competition. Who's better?
Oh, trust me, me and my brother are the same way.
We got a problem here for Freeman.
Gary Freeman.
Yeah, he's the points leader in GTAM.
He is. Looks like the tires are too hot, and he just cooks it through the corner, and it starts to slide. I wonder if the earlier spin-outs just tires aren't there anymore. It looks like he's still on track.
Yeah, it's hard to be fast without a front bumper, and it's hard to keep control of the car as well.
He did tell me the other day that he's considered the lawnmower, is what he told me.
Need a John Deere sponsorship then on that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Looks like we've got Brian Sohn.
We are very close to that time limit.
Yep, about 30 seconds left on that time limit.
And here's the pass for the lead in the GTPs.
Reynolds to the inside. Now back to the outside.
Oh, really good run on that outside.
Very nice exit on that. Takes him back to the lead.
Yeah, they should have 2 more laps because whenever they come back around, they should get the white flag, I believe, is how it's set up.
Yeah, so we should see white flag this next time by. still dicing through the GT3 cars. We'll see if you're Gonzalez, do you make the pass before the white flag, or do you wait until, the last corner or the last half a lap to make that pass? Because it looks like he keeps closing in spots.
I think I personally would wait until the last lap, wait to capitalize at the last minute. But then again, it's hard to set up a run and a pass opportunity. So if you get one, I think you got to take it.
Right. I mean, it's always easier to follow than it is to lead and force the mistake. But it looked like he was going to maybe. Oh, mistake there by Gonzalez.
Yeah, just kind of, he went to move to the right or to the left there to kind of scare Reynolds, but we do see checkered flag is out, and that is going to be the finish. Reynolds is going to win.
With Gonzalez second, it's like Lazier third, Lambert fourth.
Yeah, this is for, I believe, is it GT3?
Yes, yeah, GT3 Pro.
So Youngwall, he's going to continue to lead here, and he is the points leader, so this is going to help him out.
Looks like Kingsbury's back about 3.4, so he's going to hold that down. Then we've got Matt Kingsbury about 22 seconds back. I got Cody Cosgrove in 11th. Then we got... All right, so after Heat 1, we've got Christian Youngwall taking the win in the GT3 Pro, followed by Ray Kingsbury in second, Matt Kingsbury in third, Cody Cosgrove in fourth, Brian Sohn in fifth, Brian Asta in sixth, Kevin Fanning in seventh. And then GT3 AM, first place goes to Marwan Mofat. Second goes to Daniel Coletta. Third is Kevin Bogart. Fourth, Tim Brokaw. Fifth, Alex Axman. Sixth, Ruby Lehman. Seventh, Gary Freeman. Eighth, Josh Ondo.
And here's the one that matters. The GTP final results. You got Blake Reynolds, Michael Gonzalez, Flynn Lazier in the top three there. Brandon Lambert, Aaron Beaver, Stephen Finch, and Josh Stoltz rounds out that field for the GTP there for the sprint. And these guys get half points for the sprint, double points for the feature. So these guys, it was 30 for Blake Reynolds, so that's good for him in the championship point standings. But double points here to the feature for 50 minutes. But we got a 10-minute warm-up period here in between. I think we got time that we could possibly talk to Blake Reynolds, possibly, for winning that sprint. We'll catch him after the break, I believe. So we'll go to break. AJ, you want to send us off here?
So we got about 10 more minutes until the main event here, which is going to be 50 minutes. So on that note, go ahead and we're going to take a break here, pay the bills, and we'll be back after that.
How we doing, boss?
Oh, and of course I'm drawing a blanket. Blake Reynolds here with us. Sorry about that, Blake. Winner of the GTP class. Looked like you had a heck of a fight there with Michael Gonzalez.
Yeah, it was good fun. This track, I said it in the driver's meeting, I consider this the Bristol of road courses. Everything happens fast here. You're going to catch the same GT car every 4 or 5 laps. It is ridiculous. So, short lap times and a lot of action, as you saw.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like minute 8 lap times. And, I mean, you guys were close the whole race.
Yeah. The GT field, I mean, really, I think the gap between the whole GTP field was not a whole lot. I mean, top 5 was within 15 seconds.
Right. Yeah, and we saw few mistakes throughout the race. Nothing super big, especially when you're dicing through the GT3 cars there. Didn't really see you guys get too out of shape, but also saw a little bit of I wouldn't say beating and banging. It's not NASCAR, but coming down the hill, it looked like you two got into each other coming through the left right there. But overall, really good racing, it looked like, from your guys' side.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I would call it NASCAR, I do come from that side of sim racing. I used to be a pro on the oval side, so...
Okay.
I am not indifferent to some beating and banging. I definitely know how to dish it back if it's dished to me.
I'm still working my way towards that side of the NASCAR side of iRacing, so...
I'm definitely familiar with that. Been racing on the NASCAR side for, I think, 10 years on iRacing, so...
Yeah, it's good fun.
How long have you been doing the GTPs?
Well, I've always been a prototype guy.
Okay.
So, I recently retired from oval competitive. Like, I was in the eNASCAR Coke Series for 7 years.
Okay.
And I just got burnt out on it a little bit, and I wanted a fun retirement project. So that's what SIMCAR kind of came to be last year around this time. So me, Ray, and Brandon got together and formed this all up, and this is season 3 of Grand AM.
Okay. So mainly just the grind of the oval stuff. Time to switch it up and maybe start turning right a little bit.
Yeah, I've run the Rolex 24 every year. 24 Hours of Daytona on iRacing. It's not sponsored by Rolex. Yeah, I've run that every year. It's been on iRacing. Even when it was the 2.4, and then in 2015 they made it 24, and I've run it every single year since. So it's always been a fascination, and every year it's grown more and more. And now the series I follow most, other than NASCAR, is IMSA. I know all the teams, know most of the drivers, like just from watching, and it's pretty cool. I've really grown to love sports car racing, and it's a good passion project for me to do this and put it on.
All right. Well, we're gonna let you get back to it. Get back in the car. Hopefully, we'll see another fun race out of you guys in this 50-minute.
There should be some pit stops coming up too, so you're gonna see a little bit of strategy in all the classes.
I was gonna say that's where it's gonna make things really interesting.
Yep. See ya.
Yep. Blake Reynolds, everybody, winner of the GTP Sprint.
Well, here we go. We're going to the feature, and you can see it looks like it's not inverted, so Blake Reynolds going to be starting first as it appears.
Yeah, so it looks like we're starting based on finish from the last one. So we've got Reynolds in first, Gonzalez is starting second, Lazier in third, Lambert's going to start fourth, Beaver's going to start in fifth, Finch in sixth, Stoltz in seventh for the GTPs.
Over to the GT3 Pro here. We got Christian Youngwall on pole, Ray Kingsbury second, Matt Kingsbury third, Cody Crosgrove looking to rebound from his incident in the sprint. He's starting fourth. Brian Sohn, Brian Asta, and Kevin Fanning going to be your starting lineup for the GT3 Pro for the feature.
And then down to GT3 AM, we've got Mofta in first, Coletta in second, Bogart's going to start third. Fourth is Brokaw. Sixth, Axman. Fifth is Axman. Sixth, Lehman. Seventh, Gary Freeman, your points leader coming into this event today in seventh. Eighth is going to be Josh Ondo. And it looks like we're underway for the pace lap. And again, just like the 20-minute, key thing is getting through turn one clean and up and over the hill.
I was gonna say I'm looking forward to Reynolds and Gonzalez going at it again.
Yeah.
And now with I believe Lazier is going to get back up into this too. We saw him very quick in the beginning, so hopefully he's able to get up front and get into that battle. Now you got Lambert; he's right up there with them too, with them regrouping. So let's see who has the fastest car early.
And it looks like Christian Youngwall is going to give him about a 10-second gap back. So we don't have run over, because as I said earlier, cold tires, these things like to do some crazy things, but hopefully re-racking this GTP class, keep it tight and see if we can't have maybe a sixth or however many battle to the end here in 50 minutes. Especially with fuel stops and everything else coming into play here. Now the question is do you pit as you catch the GT3s, or do you wait? Because if you pit when you catch the GT3s, by the time you come back out and start catching them again, they should be sliding off themselves. So it's kind of a weird balance that you've got to play with here now that we get into that 50-minute.
Yeah, I am not the right person to ask. I have no idea when the right time to pit in these are. But if you ask me about NASCAR, I'm able to tell you about that.
Well, it kind of comes into play the same. Do you short pit on a long run to catch that yellow at the end? Whereas obviously we don't have yellows here, but do you want to deal with the lap traffic? And the GTP can go about 30-35 minutes without having to pit. It's at that point you're out of fuel. You gotta bring this thing in. And do you only take fuel, or do you put tires on?
I would personally split it in half then and do 25-minute and 25-minute and just kind of be as even as possible. And I don't know how tires are for these guys, but I definitely, every chance I get, I want 4 new ones.
Takes about the same amount of time, but we're going green here. It looks like Reynolds is going to lead him down into the corner, but Gonzalez pulling ahead as we get ready to go up the hill. And it looks like Gonzalez is going to lead us for a minute here as we get the GTPs going. And Youngwall's going to lead him down in. Kingsbury falling in tow.
Yeah, for these guys, we did see an early incident in turn 2 last time through, so let's see if they're able to get clean through here. So far, so good. Contact for the lead, though, there.
I thought I seen somebody leaning on another person, but wasn't sure who.
I think it was for third place. I think it was Bogart.
I think you're right. Gonzalez still leading, actually, they're about neck and neck right now. So it looks like we're going to see another really good battle for hopefully 50 minutes. Gonzalez to the inside down the hill, but Reynolds is going to shut the door on him.
Yeah, that gives him the inside for the next corner, and he's able to take the lead. But now Gonzalez with a crossover move, and now you see Lazier getting into this battle. I mentioned it earlier. He was really fast in the early stages of that sprint, and he had an incident that put him on back through the field, went off track. Now he's able to recover, and he's there.
It might make this a lot tighter race for this win. We're on board with Flynn Lazier. Go down the hill and back up. You see him working the wheel and how rough it is right here at the top of the hill. Just amazes me how they can hit that spot and it doesn't really, unsettle the car too much, especially with these GTPs.
A little bit of a overstep there by Gonzalez, but luckily he's able to stay off the throttle and doesn't get loose on that grass. We have a replay here. It looks like Matt Kingsbury with a possible issue.
Oh, it looks like looks like that car's a little beat on the bumper cover there. It looks like it's shoved over even before he come down the hill.
It
looks like he had some contact earlier.
Here's Ray Kingsbury.
he hits that. Oh no! Oh.
This is big for Ray Kingsbury. He finished second in that sprint, but I mean, no hood, no front bumper. That might be a night ender.
He was definitely keeping Christian Youngwall honest there. You know, through that whole 20-minute.
You can see other drivers were having issues. It looks like Cosgrove again gets collected in it. Mentioned that he needed a rebound, but unfortunately he gets collected in this one as well. Back up to the live picture here. You see Alex Axman. He's also got to have a good comeback coming up. He went around twice in the sprint, so he's got to get some good places. And he's doing a pretty good job right now, sitting in second for the GTAM.
See, I think that's why I like this format a little bit. It gives you a chance to kind of redeem yourself in the second half if you had a bad sprint early on. So, especially with the second race, you know, double points paying. Oh, and he's off again. That'll probably be a slowdown right there, so I would expect to see him check up here shortly.
Yeah, typically you want to wait until a straightaway to slow down so you don't cause anyone else some harm, but back up to the lead here. Youngwall just walking away with this thing right now. He's got about a 6-second lead to Mofta there in ninth. Mofta has some company behind him there. I think that's Brian Stone.
Just nicely in tow, not really pushing it yet.
Oh,
he's going to come down the hill. Looks like he was going to try and force the issue, but rather than create the contact, you know, just back off and keep it clean the rest of the way.
You said not forcing the issue, and then right as you said it, he goes and forces the issue.
And it looks like GTP's starting to get to the back of the GT3s now.
Yeah, from what Reynolds said, it's about every 3 to 4 laps you're going to catch these guys. So we're about, I think, 4 or 5 laps in, so we see them catching them now. Gonzalez still the leader. Lazier second. Reynolds in third.
Not much of a gap between the top three either. And they're all running about a 107.6, 107.8, or 107.9. So definitely some faster laps than what we were seeing.
Oh, here comes it. Looking to the inside. Not quite there, though.
I'm kind of wondering if there's some setup changes in between last race and this race, because like I said, we are seeing some faster lap times than what I was seeing in the last one.
Oh, Lazier with a really good run. He's going to look to the left, which is inside in that left-hander here.
He's not quite side by side with him, so see if he can cross him up and carry him up the hill. And they've got a GT3 car right there.
Yeah, and he chose, I think, to back out of that to allow them to get around that GT3. But now he's going to take the inside, and he's going to possibly take the lead. That was close.
Gonzalez is coming back, though. It almost seems like each one of them's got their strong suits here. Each one having an answer for the other, basically. But Flynn Lazier is your leader right now.
The last time we saw Lazier in the lead, he stepped out of the corner a little bit too wide and went around and allowed Gonzalez and Reynolds to go by. So we see Reynolds is actually 2.2 seconds back off of that battle, so having some struggles through that GT3 traffic.
And it looks like we've got Mofta in first in GTAM. Trying to see who's behind him there, or just in front of him.
That's Brian Sohn. He just got around trying to catch Christian Youngwall now for that GT3 Pro category.
So Mofta leading GTAM, and actually right up there in the mix with the GT Pros. See if Brian Sohn can close this down. I mean, it's about, what, an 11-second gap up to Youngwall right now?
And right now, Kevin Fanning, he's trying to get around these guys of Brokaw and Mofta. He's one of the GT3 Pro cars trying to get around the GT3 AM. See him there in that black car trying to get by these two.
Just looking for any way around.
I believe that's, if I want to, I think it's Josh Ondo back there in that black car. No, Josh Ondo's here. So that must be Coletta. Yeah, it's Coletta. Oh, he goes off track. Just as I brought his name up, he goes off track.
Came pretty close to the wall, but he saved it. So, it doesn't look like any damage or anything. Yeah, it looks like he's really pushing to try to get around these guys, see if he can't set sail, but looks like he's going to try the long way around there for a second.
Here's the pass attempt here on Ondo. Letta gets by him into the braking zone, almost over brakes. Contact there.
Just did a little bit of late braking to dive it in and go.
Yeah, you can see he was in a four-wheel slide. Was able to catch it. Oh, he's still loose. Whenever you slide the tires like that, the next few corners, you're still going to struggle a little bit.
Well, it looked like he stepped off just a little bit and clipped that grass with the left rear. And in these cars, I mean, once you touch the grass, the car just kind of offsets just enough. You got to really hold on to it. Coletta's still looking for a way around the next Porsche.
Oh, that's not the way around. He gave him a big shot there in the bumper.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
another one.
He did it again coming in.
You can tell he's starting to get a little bit impatient with them. He wants to get up there and make these passes. See if he can do anything whenever we come down the hill over here into that heavy braking zone. Then we got the left and right hander. He's gonna try it.
He did it again. He's made a couple of passes there and it's worked out for him. This time, no contact on exit, so it paid off.
Brakes seem a lot better in that Ferrari than it does the Porsche, so he's able to really use the brakes.
And another thing with that Ferrari that I've noticed, at least with the old 488, is it definitely likes to run the slip angle more than the Porsche does. So this might be a track that suits that car a little bit better.
Yeah, you can see up in the front, it's actually two Ferraris, and then we got the Porsches behind them. So Ferrari so far are handling this track a lot better.
Yeah, for sure. Back up to lead.
I was going to say Flynn Lazier still leading out front here. No change up there. He's kind of pulled away from Gonzalez.
Yeah, he's starting to open up a gap. It looks like he was 0.2 faster last lap over Gonzalez with a 107.6 to Gonzalez's 107.8. And it looks like Blake Reynolds turned in a 109.2 last lap. And Lazier and Gonzalez have definitely gapped it out. I mean, Gonzalez is up 0.4 or 3.2 over Reynolds, and Lazier's up 1.3 over Gonzalez right now.
Yeah, you can see Aaron Beaver kind of catching Brandon Lambert though for fourth place, so possibly a battle about to happen there for fourth.
Yeah, they're definitely getting closer as this goes.
Here's that battle there with Beaver and Lambert. You can see down to 0.5 of a second, now within 0.5.
Yep.
But I think possibly an issue up front because Gonzalez is within half a second. Oh, well, now it was only temporary. Now he's way back. He's 2 seconds back now.
Yeah, about 2 seconds back. They were only a 10th off on lap time.
Oh, trouble! Beaver around.
Keeps it off the wall.
Out of the tires. Yeah.
Nice save. Now it's just get it back on track safely and get this thing moving forward again.
Up front with the GT3 AM, we got Mafta with a really big lead over Tim Brokaw. Those are Porsches out front in the AM, and Daniel Coletta, he's the only Ferrari out here in the GT3 AM.
About 18 seconds back, it looks like, for Coletta. We got Alex Axman in fourth. Josh Ondo in fifth. On board with him as he goes up the hill. Trying to close in there on Axman and see if he can pick up another position here. You can see he's definitely pushing the edges of the corners there. Just trying to make up any little bit of ground.
Got a replay here. Looks like Gary Freeman. He had issues in the sprint. Let's see what happens here in the feature. Oh, goes a little off track.
Looks like he was trying to get out of the way of that GTP, and I think he just kind of overcooked it, trying to get out of the way too fast.
Back up to the live picture with Ondo. He's now within striking distance of Axman. Let's see if he's able to make a pass down the hill here. He is. He's going to use that inside going into that left-hander.
We've seen a lot of passes here so far.
Yeah, definitely one of the biggest passing zones on this track, and a lot of people are utilizing it as such.
I think it works really good for the GT3. I'm not so sure with the GTP, being that it's the bigger, longer car, but definitely a good spot for the GT3s.
Yeah, we've seen Gonzalez in the sprint try to use that corner to get the win, but ended up getting into the back of Reynolds instead of passing him. So it's a little tougher, it seems. I mean, the braking is a lot quicker with those prototypes, if I'm not mistaken. So they can kind of be more aggressive into that corner.
It can be, but it's a delicate balance with the prototype. If you use too much, you'll feel that rear end start to walk. And we've got Youngwall all alone by himself, 3 seconds to the next car up. Or actually, I'm sorry, a lap up to the next car in front of him, which is the GTP of Aaron Beaver.
Yeah, this is no surprise. He's the points leader for the GT3 Pro, and he came to Road Atlanta and said, I'm going to remain the leader.
I would say with the way that car is looking, he definitely did some work on that setup. Like that car looks in control the entire time.
Yeah, he put some final adjustments in there in that warm-up period, and it is hooked up for him right now. You can see a GT Pro coming by here. I believe that's our leader, Lazier. It is.
Yep, and about 2 seconds back to Gonzalez, so he's actually gapping it as we speak, so definitely looking in control. Nice comeback from the sprint earlier. You see he's not getting too wild with the wheel as he's going through the left rights and down the hill.
You can see Gonzalez's gap to him has kind of stayed right around that 2-1 area, and he's actually going to set a faster lap than our leader that lap. Lazier had a 1:08, he had a 1:07. Gonzalez did.
Yeah, and it looks like Blake Reynolds also put in a 1:07. So second and third running faster than the leader currently.
You can see Gonzalez kind of chipping away at that interval there. And that's kind of what we saw in the sprint. We saw him come on late and get up to the front a little bit later. It seemed like the car was set up for the long haul. We're seeing that again here in the feature.
Right, and we're only 16 minutes in. Actually just hit 17, so we still do have pit stops that are going to come into play here. Do some guys start looking at pitting sooner rather than later, or do they, like with the NASCAR side of things, run it out of gas and then pit it and hope for a good run there at the end with some fresh tires?
Well, like I said earlier, I think splitting this thing directly in half, pitting it about 25 minutes in, you get a good feel for what the car can do for those 25 minutes, and you know what the car is going to give you for the last 25 minutes. So it's the best type of strategy that you can pull. It's just splitting this thing in half.
Yeah, I would agree, because then it gives you an even, you can almost use your sprint setup basically on that mindset if you split it right down the middle, and I have to really create a setup for a long haul at that point.
Yeah, but some of these guys may have done the long haul setup, so they might you might see them go a little bit longer if they're able to run faster lap times in the long haul.
It looks like Gonzalez has been chipping away. He's down to 1.7 right now, so maybe the lap cars are coming into play here a little bit. Oh, he overcooks it.
Yeah, speaking of the GT3 lap cars, he was a little bit aggressive into that corner.
He's going to lose the position to Blake Reynolds right there.
And that's tough there for Gonzalez. He was doing real good. He was starting to catch him, and one mistake and you lose all of that ground.
Yeah, it kind of looked like he just kind of come into the corner. I don't think he anticipated the GT3 car to be where it was, and just overcooked the corner, and that's all she wrote. It looks like he's picked the pace right back up and taken back off after Blake Reynolds here. That Acura has definitely got some speed to it.
Oh, for sure. And he probably has the long run setup that I was talking about, because you can see later in the run he's starting to set faster laps than the leader was. So he's definitely got that long run setup in that car.
Be interesting to see now that he's come back from that off track what this next lap time is here. Reynolds faster than Lazier on that last lap as well. Lazier looks like he's backed it down to a 109. Both Reynolds and Gonzalez with a 108.5 apiece.
I think if you're Lazier right now, you're okay with running a little bit slower of a lap time. You got enough of a gap that you can just remain safe, not get too many off-track incident points, and just run a nice smooth race here until the pit stops. Yeah,
I mean he's about just shy of 5 seconds up on Reynolds. I mean, I don't know if you're in that kind of gap area. Do you push it to try to open the gap up just a little bit more so that way you can make your pit stop when you want to, and if they come in with you, great. If they don't, it's not really going to hurt you. Or do you kind of back it down and hope that you don't, wreck the car or get into a GT3? But
I know personally, I would be the later of the two. I would be backing it down and just running conservative, knowing that I have that gap. Some people will go to the aggressive side of that and try to extend it. And that's when you step over the limits.
It looks like Flynn Lazier decided to go for stepping over the limit. He just threw down a 107.3, which is the fastest lap in the race so far.
We see Matt Kingsbury off the track there in front of Reynolds and Gonzalez. And now Lazier catches a GT3 car there. But he's definitely on it.
And it looks like Reynolds has brought it back to within 2 seconds.
Yeah, I think something happened with Lazier in the S's there. And it's what I was about to say. Whenever you're stepping over that limit, you could step too far and have a mistake. And it looks like Lazier may have had a mistake.
Well, and Reynolds and Gonzalez put in a 107.8 each that last lap around. So, yeah, I mean, they're not far off of your leader with a 107.3. And if he made a mistake, definitely gives him a chance to close that gap.
Yeah, I think if we see this current lap that he's on, I think we're going to see like a 110 here, because he definitely had an issue. So you see 109.4.
Yeah, so definitely something there. I don't know if he just caught a GTP or a GT3 at the wrong time. Yeah, and Reynolds and Gonzalez both with a 107.6 for Reynolds, 107.4 for Gonzalez.
Brandon Lambert just set his fastest lap of the race so far. And oh no! Oh.
Nice evasive move there by Reynolds to not get collected in that GT3.
He's trying to get it. Oh, no. Was that Lambert?
I don't think so.
Oh, it was Brandon Lambert.
Just comes up the hill and hits Brian Stone as he's trying to get moving, it looked like.
Oh, man. And that's the problem. He was trying to get it refired and get it going, but was unable to, and you can see Lambert, I think, is going to tow. Let's see what happened to Stone to put him in that situation. You can see the faster cars catching up to him. He just gets loose here. Gets tagged, actually, by Gonzalez. And then watch this. He's trying to get it refired here. The rear tires aren't moving. And this is a big hit.
It has a heavy hit. Yeah, so that's going to take Lambert right out of it, it looked like.
Here's the view from Lambert. Hold on to something here. This is going to be big. You can see it's a blind corner coming down the hill here. And you're going to go up the corner through the S's. And this track has a lot of blind spots, and that's one of them. My goodness.
And he had that Porsche right in front of him. That Porsche moves at the last second because, again, these cars don't have the biggest windshield to see out of. So, you know, once he moved over it, there wasn't anything he could do. It just hit him straight in the rear.
That's an unfortunate break for Lambert, but back up toward the front. Gonzalez, we saw him make a little bit of contact in that. He's able to remain in second place.
I was looking for some damage on that car, but I don't see anything currently.
I think, if anything, he's got a little scratch on that right front, but that is about it.
And here being the fact that you know, it's not as high speed in some sections, I don't think it'll hurt him too much aerodynamics-wise, but...
We got the track map up on your screen. You can follow along with your favorite driver. Just look for their initials. And obviously, blue is GT3 AM, the black is GT3 Pro, and orange is the GT prototype.
It does look like Gonzalez and Reynolds are starting to pull the leader back in. Ooh, Gonzalez with a little bit of a mistake there coming out of the corner.
Yeah, a little bit of wheel spin there. He's able to keep it straight, but it allowed Reynolds now to get this big run. He's going to look to the left coming down the hill here. We haven't seen this work much for the prototypes. Let's see if he's able to make it work.
There's going to be a GT3 right there.
Oh, and he gets right in front of Reynolds. Now Reynolds is going to have to set his run back up and try again here. We see we're halfway in this feature now, 25 minutes in. Let's see if we start seeing some green flag stops. Here they are.
Christian Youngwall coming in. And that's your leader of the GT3 Pro class.
Yeah, Youngwall deciding to do that strategy of pitting at exactly halfway so that you're basically having the same amount of laps on your tires for both runs. You can see Brian Asta also choosing to pit here as well. Got another one, Mofta coming in. I think this is going to bring a lot of the GTA AM cars. 3 Porsches coming in at the same time.
They should be pretty close for the GT3 cars. About 30 minutes on those, and you're out of fuel at that point. So we've got quite a few GT3s on pit road right now. No GTP cars coming yet, so it'll be interesting to see what the strategy is there. Gary Freeman down and away.
And that's Lehman, I believe, right in front of him.
I believe so too. Oh no, Lehman's a little bit ways. Yep. Brian Sohn brings it down to pit road.
You got to wonder when the prototypes are going to make that decision to pit. We're here with the leader, Flynn Lazier. You got to wonder when he's going to bring that thing in.
And Lazier threw a 107.6 down in the last lap around. It looks like he's actually getting a little faster as this goes.
Do you think at this point that Flynn Lazier may pit and not take any tires, considering he's still running 107s at this point in the race? He actually set the fastest lap of the race just that last lap.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how much he's saving. I do know that, you know, depending on the setup and the fact that by the time you put fuel in and put tires on, it's about the same amount of time as if you don't take tires. It actually takes longer depending on how much fuel you're putting in. So, and he just slid there through that corner. So I don't know. I think if I'm him, you know, push it for a few laps, use up the last of those tires, and then, you know, pit it and sail it for home if you can keep the gap. But it does look like Gonzalez is closing it back in. It was 5 seconds last I looked. It's now down to 3.5. So clearly that damage for Gonzalez, that GT3 wreck, is not affecting him whatsoever.
You know, I've seen it before in NASCAR. You get a little bit of damage on a part of your car, it ends up actually helping you out a little bit. So maybe that's the same case. Usually
you see that when you smack the wall and your camber's not set correctly, but here you try that and it doesn't go too well.
The gap behind him to Reynolds is also 3 seconds, so he's kind of out on his own right now. Not really any pressure from behind. So
Gonzalez did close it down. He was 108.3 to 109.8.
Yeah, he's got time to catch him here. We still got about 20 minutes left in this thing, so he's got time to catch him.
I'm just waiting to see when Lazier's going to finally pit.
Off track there behind.
Blake Reynolds sitting about 3 seconds back from Mike Gonzalez right now. Again, still a lot of times, you know, can still close this gap here. Following Aaron Beaver. Oh, looks like we got a replay.
Possible issue here for Beaver as he's working through the GT3s. Oh, he's way wide there and gets tagged.
Yeah, just unfortunately needed to stick it out wide there, and it looked like that GT3 held that middle line, and I think he was expecting him to go to the inside there and didn't.
Yeah, tough break there for Aaron Beaver. Right on board here with him.
See what he can see here.
I mean, the closing rate.
Well, like I said, he just loses him in the mirrors there. I was thinking maybe he lost him in that A pillar because that A pillar is really thick. Hard to see around.
You can see now Blake Reynolds has brought it in. Gonzalez as well.
Lazier still leads. He's up to a 46-second gap right now, but Lazier still has to pit. So at this point, I'm thinking that Lazier is going to try and push it until he absolutely has to here. The big thing is you know, you want to come out in the GTP car and expect to just push it again, but you've got to remember those tires are cold, and if you try to start spinning those lap times again, it's not going to be good. Looks like Lazier finally brings it down pit road.
Let's see if he does tires. We should see the car get jacked up here. There it is. It's on the jacks.
I'm just watching the gap right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, our software not able to get those crew guys out there. iRacing doesn't have that yet for us broadcasters to show that, but obviously these guys in car, they see the guys going around the car, working it up, and putting everything in. So eventually, I hope iRacing does have that feature that we're able to see all the crew members out there.
Be interesting to see where we roll out here. Zier back on track. Looks like Gonzalez has pulled it into 3.14.
You can see the gap. Gonzalez 2.4 now. It's closing here on Lazier.
which I kind of expect a little bit. Again, Zier's still on those cold tires, whereas Gonzalez has at least got a lap, maybe 2 on those, which in these cars seems to make a world of difference with just how well you can push that turn.
And he could have also made changes in pit road to that car to set it up for a short run, knowing that we only got about 18 minutes left. Set it up to handle better in the short run instead of the long run. You can see Lazier, he didn't start up front. He started third. He's up 2 positions.
One, and as well, I mean, being the fact that he pushed it further than that 25-minute mark, he's probably definitely running, you know, lower fuel level than, you know, some of the others. So I expect him to maybe start pulling out once those tires get warm. He starts getting some more comfort back in the car.
I tell you what, real quickly, if we can set a focus to fanning, 14 positions on this race so far.
Mover of the race so far. That's big.
Yeah, you can see he's up 14 spots down on the bottom right there. Josh Ondo up 11. So some big movers here in this feature that didn't have too much of a good finish in the sprint, capitalizing here in the feature for double points.
Kind of wondering if maybe both of them went with a different strategy to pit early to try to, you know, capitalize on guys going into the pits and you know, pulling them back in. Back to your leader.
Yeah, back up front to the leader, Finn Lazier. You can see the gap kind of growing now for him. He's pulled it out to a 2.7 second gap. But as I say that, Gonzalez kind of catching him through the S's a little bit. Kind of about even.
Yeah, about the same as what we were seeing even out of Gonzalez in the sprint as well, holding that even ground, maybe waiting till later in the race to make that move. See if he can't push. Maybe I'm kind of wondering if he's not trying to push the leader into a mistake, or, you know, again, maybe burning up tires and just wait until those last 2 laps to try to make a move.
Yeah, you can see while he was struggling to get through those GT3s, Gonzalez actually dropped off about 0.3 of a second on that gap. And now you can see Gonzalez struggling with the GT3. So it's not only the leader that struggles with these guys, it's everyone in the field struggles with the GT3 whenever these GT prototypes catch up to them.
Well, especially being that with the prototype, you already know what you're doing. You come up on a GT3 and it just feels so much slower as you catch them.
We're going to take a look here at Mofta. I'm not going to try pronouncing that name of the team. I would butcher it, but you can see, heavy contact into that concrete wall. Loses a little bit of the front bumper, but it kind of seems like it's still attached there.
Well, and what I've been noticing with these GT3s is you see where they hit the curbing, but then they also clip the grass, and it seems to really want to unsettle that car. I don't know if that's due to the updated physics that we've seen with the grass and the dirt in this season or not. Looks like Gonzalez has dropped back to about 2.7.
Our sprint winner, Reynolds, has lost this group now. He's 9.3 back on Gonzalez.
Wonder if he tried fixing some possible damage during that pit stop, or
could just be struggling with the setup here in the feature. Not as good as the sprint setup that he had. I mean, he did do an interview with us while he was working on his setup in between. So maybe he wasn't able to capitalize on some changes as much as the other guys.
Lazier looking really smooth down through the S's there. He, top of the hill, he kind of let it bounce a little bit. At first he was down to 1.7, has pulled back out to 2.4.
Yeah, Reynolds just went through the grass. You can see him trying to get through the GT3s here, but definitely going through the grass. That's not helping his gap at all. It's now up to 9.5 for Reynolds here. Have a replay here. Ray Kingsbury Saw him have issues earlier, and he's
Still
got
missing
no
that
front
front
bumper.
end.
Yeah, no front bumper, hood. Going rough for Kingsbury. He goes off here. Kind of lets it go through the grass here. Gets back on.
Nice safe rejoin and out of the way of the GTP.
That's one way to get out of the way, you know?
Yeah, right? If the track doesn't give you a spot, you make one.
And I believe Ray Kingsbury, if I'm not mistaken, finished second in the sprint, so this is rough for him. But now we're going to take a look at his brother, Matt Kingsbury. See what happens to Matt here. Oh, contact from behind there. Gets shoved off into the sand.
And you can see that the front end of that Ferrari with a little bit of damage there, so...
And he has chosen to take that to the garage. He's off the track now. But back up front with, or actually we're on board with Blake Reynolds, and now we're back up front here with Flynn Lazier. 2.5 second gap, still right around the same area.
Just a little under 15 minutes to go here. Still holding about a 2.4. I've seen it as high as 2.6 on that gap. And Christian Youngwall, leader of your GT3 Pro.
Impressive run for him. He's got 34 seconds on second place there.
Just about to say a nice commanding lead, so... We've got Kevin Fanning second in GT3 Pro. Got about 13 seconds over the next car behind him for overall.
Yeah, while we got time here, I want to take a moment to thank everybody for tuning in. Of course, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We're having a great broadcast here, and my debut for it. It's been fun so far here, AJ. Doing a great job.
I would agree as well. Gary approached me about this a couple of weeks ago and said, hey, we need a broadcaster. And I said, you know what? I'll give it a shot.
It was kind of a last minute thing for me. I came in about 5 minutes before this thing, and it's been fun here tonight. It's out of my element, but I'm having a good time calling this one. We can see. Oh man, is that our leader? I think it is.
I thought that was Reynolds. Or was that Lazier?
Oh, if that was Lazier, I think it was Reynolds. But they have such a similar paint scheme that
I know.
You can't really tell. But yeah, that was Reynolds.
A little bit of damage to that right rear. I don't think it's going to slow him down too much unless it's causing it to drive funky. Because the suspension on these GTPs, it doesn't take much for it to get kind of out of whack. So we'll see if he brings it down pit road or not. I would say if he doesn't, then chances are high it's driving just fine. I mean, it doesn't look like it's tracking funky or anything like that. So he may be okay here.
Back up front, that gap for Gonzalez has gone down. He's starting to catch a little bit. As I say that, I think he has a moment.
Yeah, I was going to say all of a sudden it gapped right out to almost 3 seconds.
Yeah, he had trouble getting around that GT3 there.
Yeah.
Really off track there. Really wide on that corner exit. My goodness.
That's that uphill that, like I say, it's kind of tricky, and I think it's a little bit deceiving with how wide that exit is.
Oh, and now look at this. Lazier having troubles. He's got a lot of lap traffic. It's down to 1.5 now. Just under 10 minutes in this thing.
See if he can pull it back out and hopefully use the GT3 cars to open his gap back up.
Yeah, Reynolds caught them in a good spot, though. He caught them on that long straightaway. He's got clean room, so now there's no one in between him and Lazier, and he can just run them down now.
Yep. We'll see if the patience is paid off, or if the setup is, if we're going to see a better setup in the second half of this race to really pulling back in.
Yeah, I've noticed that Gonzalez is a little bit quicker here through the S's up the hill and down the hill here. You can see he's just kind of slowly inching his way up there as Lazier gets around that GT3. Now we're going to see Gonzalez get by him here. Had to slow down a little bit, loses about 0.3 of a second. So just that little bit of a slowdown is 3 to 4/10 of a second a lap.
And in these cars, that's huge. I mean, that's really big, especially being the fact that you can kind of have an off setup and still put in good laps in these GTPs, it seems like.
Okay, you can see just in that S's there, he's back to a 2.4. So Lazier having a little bit better luck getting through those guys through the S's than Gonzalez did.
And I think Lazier seems to be a little bit faster down the hill and through the left-right, whereas Gonzalez is catching him back in those S's. So I mean, as long as Lazier keeps clean air out in front of him coming down that hill and into the left and the right, I think that's going to be where he's going to wind up winning the race from.
You can see a little bit of an off track there for Gonzalez. Lost a lot of time now.
It looks like he's been trying to push it to make that gap up.
Here's exactly what happened. Going into turn 1, I think, is where we'll see the issue. He hits the grass a little bit there. I think he just over pushed it there. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if he's not trying to... He was trying to save tires early in that run with the whole idea of I'm going to push at the end and have fresher tires.
I think that was the last gasp effort through that corner there. He was trying to give it everything he got to try to catch him, but now it's kind of detrimental.
It looks like Lazier's still pushing the 107.5. Everybody else has seemed to kind of drop off to a 108, 109. There's a 109 that last lap for Gonzalez. Almost to that 5 minutes to go mark.
Yeah, and once we see that time run out, it will be white flag immediately that we saw in the sprint. So they don't come around and take the white flag. It automatically goes to the white flag. So as soon as we hit 50 here.
Gonzalez took it really wide up that hill that time.
Yeah, he's just trying to get his groove back, try to run down Lazier, but he's running out of time to do so. We got no issue for Youngwall still for the GT Pro to check in on them. He's still got a 35-second lead, so he can just run nice and easy here to the end. GTM, we got about a 10-second gap for the lead. Tim Brokaw took that over, so he's now in the lead of that, with Coletta in second and Ondo in third. You can see Ondo, he's 29 seconds back from Coletta, I believe, so he's nowhere near trying to get up to Coletta. So looks like our finishing positions are going to be what they are currently, unless anyone has an issue here.
Yeah, with about 3 to 4 laps to go here. Just as long as everybody makes it around nice and smooth. Get some GTPs dicing up through some GT3s.
I think that's Beaver and our leader, Lazier. Beaver looking like he's about to go possibly a lap down.
I think you're right there.
Oh, and this is for a position here between Josh Ondo and Axman.
See if Axman can come back on him.
Yeah, this is 4/10th place right here, coming down the hill.
Looks like Ondo's going to pull it out in just a little bit as we come out of that section.
Yeah, he was able to make that pass, and now he's going to start pulling away here. I don't think Axman's going to be able to come back on that one. So here's a replay of that. You can see Axman is a little bit wide through those guys battling in front of him, and then you can see steps out over the curb, and then Ondo going to take the position from him.
Yeah, I don't think he was expecting the GTPs to come through the middle of him quite like that, but
You know, I typically see 4 wide at, you know, places like Talladega and Daytona for NASCAR, but I didn't expect it at Road Atlanta for these GT3 and Pros. Lazier's gap kind of closed a little bit. Gonzalez down to 3.4.
I say it looks like he's closed him in a second, but is that Lazier backing it off? Or are we seeing lap traffic coming into play maybe a little bit?
I think it's a mixture of both. I think if you're Lazier right now, you're not going to do anything to ruin your race. You're just going to drive it nice and easy, not take those risks, and maybe give up about a half a second a lap. But you can afford that at this point.
He did throw down a 107.5. Gonzalez just with a 107.3 on that last lap. It looks like Lazier's pulled it back out a little bit again. Gonna see a few GT3s coming into play here. Oh, and Lazier just sees that happen in front of him.
That's gotta scare you if you're the leader of this thing.
Exactly, especially when you're this close to the end. Looks like he's got a nice open track in front of him for a little bit here until he gets that next GT3.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he'll catch the GTP that's in front of him. I believe that's Finch in front of him.
Have about a minute 16 left, so we might get one more after this, depending on if he backs it down, but I don't really think he can afford to back it down that much and not get caught by Gonzalez here.
Yeah, it's going to be probably 2 more laps here. We're going to have this one and then one more after.
Yeah, I think with how close he is to the finish line here, we should see one more, probably with 15 seconds left to go if my math's correct.
It's definitely cutting it close, but definitely going to need one extra lap here.
Gonzalez is down to 3.5. I don't think he's got enough time to really push to pull that back in. I think he's going to run out of time and run out of real estate.
See, 15 seconds left here. 10 seconds, and he's about to cross the line.
Yep.
He already did, so we will have one more lap here. Christian Youngwall, he's kind of just accepted it already. He's got the win. I mean, I think even if he goes off track at the moment, he still has it.
About a 40-second gap there, so that's a good drive. Tim Brokaw, your GT3 AM, up about 32 seconds over second place for him, so sitting in that same boat as Youngwall here. Just got to, bring it home for the win. And it's so hard when you get down, especially in these endurance races, the last lap, am I going to make it through the corners clean? Am I going to be just fine? Like, is something going to happen here? So.
Yeah, Lazier just trying to be perfect here, and he only has one corner left. Flynn Lazier going to win the feature here at Road Atlanta.
We've got Michael Gonzalez coming in second. Blake Reynolds down through the S's and then should be up over the hill one more time, and looks like he's going to bring it home for third. Your sprint winner from earlier.
Youngwall with the win there in GT Pro. Just kind of cruising around the track now. And Tim Brokaw going to win GTM. I believe we'll take a quick break, go over the results when we come back, and then we'll interview the winners of the GTM, the GT Pro, and the GT Prototype.
Welcome back, everybody. We are just finishing up here. We've got the results from GTP. Flynn Lazier, your winner by 2.7 seconds, followed by Michael Gonzalez. Blake Reynolds in third. Stephen Finch in fourth. Aaron Beaver in fifth. Brandon Lambert sixth. Josh Stoltz in seventh for GTP.
And the GT Pro here, we'll take a look at the results for the feature for them. Christian Youngwall, the winner by 41 seconds, so he was out here on a Sunday drive on a Thursday. But Kevin Fanning with a good comeback. He gained 14 spots throughout that race, finishes second. Brian Asta third, Ray Kingsbury fourth, Brian Stone fifth, Matt Kingsbury in sixth, and Cody Crosgrove having more issues out here, 36 laps down.
And now we'll go to GT3 AM. Tim Brokaw, your winner by a lap over Daniel Coletta. Third place goes to Josh Ondo. Fourth to Alex Axman. Fifth to Marwan Mofta. Sixth to Gary Freeman. Seventh to Ruby Lehman. Eighth to Kevin Bogart.
And we see that now we have Tim Brokaw in the interview waiting room, so we'll go ahead and pull him here to have a quick chat with him for winning the GTM feature here. So Tim, you won by, it looks like a lap here, so kind of an easy race. Maybe not easy, but a good race out here for you. So tell us how that feature went for you.
Any race on this track with multi-class is never an easy race. Pretty much on my toes the entire time. Yeah, the feature race went a lot smoother than the sprint for me. I had a lot of mistakes and just being my own worst enemy in the sprint, but I think Marwan had me handily for the AM, but I think he got a penalty in the pits, so that was really just a matter of keeping my head down and trying to make as few mistakes as possible.
So
Go ahead,
AJ.
I was going to ask, how much did pit strategy come into play on this one?
For this one, I was kind of taking Kevin's lead. We all started with as much fuel as we could, so we all, traffic can always play into that, but
right.
We wanted to have the quickest stop possible on fuel, and we also took 2 lefts because we could get them done in the time that we could get our full fuel fill up, so we each took 2 lefts, which I think helped a lot in the second half.
Little bit of gamble on the tires and get back out as fast as possible.
Actually, it wasn't a gamble, except for the fact that they'd be cold because they're doing them at the same time as the fuel we found. So we got no penalty in the pits for the tires if we do one side only.
Okay.
So just a lucky, nice strategy, something Kevin figured out we should do, and I think it worked out.
Well, before we send you on your way, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to? Anyone you want to thank here for the win in GTM?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Kevin Fanning for giving us great setups to work with. Guys Too Fast for sponsoring some of the races, Penguin RC, and of course the guys over at SIMCAR for putting on the league. I've been in this league for many years now, and I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. It's always just a blast.
And AJ, you were going to say something there. I cut you off. If you have one more question there for Tim.
Nope, I think I'm good. Congrats on the win. Commanding win as well.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
All right, we'll try catching up with our GT Pro winner if we can here. Christian Youngwall. Let me pull him up here.
We're gonna hopefully get Christian Youngwall here.
There we go. Had to drag him a little bit farther. He was way down there, but Christian Youngwall's here now. Go ahead, AJ.
Christian, heck of a win there. 41-second lead at the end. How's it feel?
Honestly, it was sort of a Sunday drive. I mean, unfortunately, after turn 5 or 6, I think I had a 5 or 6 second lead on the first lap. So I mean, the sprint race was a lot of fun with Ray. Me and him were going at it. I'd love that, but unfortunately, they just all seemed to do the same thing on the same corner, and I didn't really have much to do.
Well, and we were hoping to see Ray right there with you again. We watched that whole 20-minute race, and it looked like a dogfight there, and you're hoping to see more of that in the 50-minute, but things just didn't align on that one.
No, it was really unfortunate because we were just PMing in between during the intermission, and we were looking forward to having a good battle, maybe run a little less wing to see if one of us could get the straight, and then before you knew it, it was over.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of a rubber band match in the 20-minute, and then I'm like, we were talking up here at the booth, like this is going to be a really good battle here at the end. So it was unfortunate to not see something happen. I was hoping for a dogfight for 50 minutes, but anybody you want to thank, sponsors, anything like that?
I guess thanks Penguin RC and Too Fast for putting everything together, and thanks everyone for showing up. I enjoyed myself.
And then I guess the only other thing, any crazy strategy come into play tonight, or just kind of the usual, or?
I was debating something in my head, maybe to pit a little earlier, depending on the traffic with the DHs, because the front three were together most of the race. So maybe depending on me and Ray, we always seem to have some sort of difference in our pit. So I think that would have been interesting, because I know at Fuji that was our big difference was the pit. So I was hoping we'd have something similar, but
and I kind of wondered if you guys were going to pit a little bit earlier, hoping to let the DHs by, or how that was going to come into play for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I have my mini map on my other monitor, so every once in a while you kind of look to see, I know they're X behind me, they might catch me, or they're going to get me in the S's, so I'm going to lose a lot of time or something. So definitely was thinking of bringing that into account, but I mean, I had such a big gap at one point, I didn't really have to think about it, which was nice.
All right, well, congrats on the win, Christian. We'll let you go, and I think we're going to get winner of GTP in here next.
We will indeed. Flynn Lazier going to win the GT prototype feature here, the 50-minute race. Flynn, you kind of, I'm probably sweating that last little bit there, but you were able to come out as the winner. You started third for the feature after having some issues in the sprint. So tell us how your race went here today.
Yeah, I just had a clean race, and I got by Blake, I think, on the start, and got by Michael shortly after that, and just had a smooth race. It was good.
Did you have the same setup that you had in the sprint into the feature, or did you do some adjusting there to capitalize for the feature? What was your strategy coming in?
I had the same setup. I made a big brake bias mitigation change, and that was it. I just had too much for the brake bias, so made that change, and car felt good for the race.
Yeah, we saw you make the issue in the sprint, ended up finishing third, but coming out and winning the feature got to be pretty big for you here at a track like Road Atlanta.
Yeah, I love this track. This is a great track, and I thank Ray, Blake, and Brian for putting the race on, and yeah, great event. Thanks, guys.
AJ, you got anything to add before we send him on his way here?
No, just congrats on the win. Yeah, I've seen a couple of hairy points that especially coming down to the last 10 minutes or so that you want to try to avoid, but overall, heck of a win there.
Okay.
All right, that's gonna wrap up our interviews here for tonight. AJ, that was fun, man. It was fun calling a race with you. Never done so before. It was a lot of fun. I
had a lot of fun tonight. Usually, like I say, coming from the NASCAR world over to the sports car side of things, and it's definitely different. Got me out of my comfort zone tonight. So thank you everybody for having me on as well. Yeah, we can see the schedule here for them. I believe Homestead up next for these guys. So Homestead, familiar track for me over on the NASCAR side. I absolutely love that track. They have a very interesting road course. And I say very interesting is corners come where you don't expect them. So these guys are in for a challenge, in my opinion. And that's for my lack in the GTP cars there. I haven't actually driven a GTP car, but GT3 I have. So. All right, well, we're going to wrap this thing up.
for Too Fast Racing. Thanks for watching, everyone in the YouTube chat. Penguin RC Grand AM series. We're going to end it here. Thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe for future races. AJ, anything you want to add as we send this thing out?
Again, thanks everybody for having me. Hope you all enjoyed the racing tonight, and everybody have a good rest of the week and weekend.